Hey guys, what's happening? It's Wednesday, the 19th, and I didn't get back on the Duramax today. I had some other pressing issues. Allegedly, we got some snow coming on Friday and Saturday, so I had to get some stuff swapped over. I didn't have the salt spreader on my Super Duty, so I got it swapped over today. I still have to mount the control box, but it's all wired. Everything's run, and I've already tested the plow, which is sitting in front of my garage at home. But I did a couple things to this. When I originally made it, I made these bolt-on legs, and they fit the Silverados good, both of the trucks that I had before, and the Duramax in there. And the Super Duty hitch bumper distance is a little different. The hitch actually sits closer to the bumper, so it brings the spreader up a little higher. And I've got a couple blocks of wood and some foam padding under there, because what happens if you don't put those legs on there and tighten those two bolts, it'll rock. And now it's got some give to it, but you put the foam under there, because what happens, those metal pads that we fabricated for it, it'll still wiggle a little bit, and it wears the bumper pad off. So that was my quick solution to that. And then of course I take the tailgate off so I can push snow out of the back of the truck if it has to sit outside or it starts snowing real bad while I'm working. So I got that board in there to keep salt from flying out. And then notice we got a big hole in the middle of the bed there. I took the gooseneck 2 5/16 ball out of there. That was an orgasm in and of itself. I had to get onto the truck, and the way that one's set up is the gooseneck plate is homemade, and underneath the truck the bolt that the hitch bolts into is welded to that plate. So I had to get up underneath there with a torch and heat it as hot as I could get it. And then it's got this bar that's welded on it, and you can see it's actually bent down. That was rubbing the bed liner coming out. So I got to heat that up and get it up and away from the bed liner when I put it in, and clean up the threads on it. And I bombed a bunch of fluid film down in the threads of the nut in the bed. So we got that going. And I think tomorrow I'm going to probably take it easy, but I do plan on getting this all sanded and ready for paint. Maybe start bagging the truck up and decide whether I'm going to reprime it or if I'm ready for paint, which I may do depending on the weather, Saturday or Sunday. I went and bought 10 gallons of diesel fuel today for the heaters for a crisp 40 bucks. And what else did I do? I got the tailgate back off the Super Duty, and that, if you guys roll back in my previous videos, it was all dented up around the latch, and I repaired it in the spring. Then I had some sand scratch problems, and I repaired that. And then I had it hooked to the skid steer trailer and didn't realize that the top of the pintle hook was that close where it adjusts on the trailer, and we put a blanker in it. You can see the filler up there, and I just left it. I was so disgusted after redoing it twice this summer. I'm going to strip it down and redo it, and just have to remember that the top of that pintle plate on the trailer is too high. You can't drop the tailgate. I don't think it hit it at first, but the minute somebody jumped on the tailgate, it scratched right down against it. So, you know, live and learn with that. So that's what's happening for today. Like I said, I'm going to get on this again tomorrow. I apologize that I bombarded you guys with videos. I was just having trouble uploading, and what it ended up being, and I made a couple comments about this. I have Frontier DSL, and the problem was they had kind of overextended their sales, and the bandwidth was pretty much all used up, and our upload speed was down to 0.02 megabits per second, which is like 20 kilobits per second. And YouTube kept failing the videos. It wouldn't let them upload because it was just too dang slow. I mean, dial-up might even have been faster than that at the time. So I called them, and sure enough, they explained to me at the internet provider that indeed was the problem, and they were working to solve it. But even my download speed, watching video, it just kept buffering and buffering and buffering. So I thought maybe it was the router, but I, unplugged and rebooted all that and tried everything that I knew to do, and even tried plugging the computer via Ethernet directly into the router instead of trying to upload wireless, which can fail a video too if there's a glitch. But I never had any problems before, and that wasn't the problem. So the internet provider said they're working on it and trying to get that solved around. We don't have cable in our area. I wish we did. If I could get cable internet, I'd be so happy, because my wife has it at her office for their high-speed internet and their telephone service. And I had it at my last house, and it is just out of this world compared to the phone line DSL that we have in our area. The speeds are just phenomenal. I think I uploaded a 30-minute video in 640 by 480 resolution in 6 minutes, which those are like hour-long to 2-hour-long uploads for me at home, which is just ridiculous. I'm sure some of you guys have similar problems, but I just wasn't used to it, and it was getting really frustrating. So at any rate, hope you're enjoying the videos. I appreciate all the comments, and keep my spirits up on this. This has been a real treat. It was a bigger job than I anticipated it was going to be, just with the amount of time it consumed to get the old panels out, drilling all those spot welds, which I knew there'd be a lot, but I didn't think there'd be 60 or 80 per side between all 3 panels that had to come out. And the cab corner, of course, but shit, there wasn't hardly any spot welds in the cab corner. I mean, truthfully, there was, I think I've got maybe 2 or 3 from here down to the corner, and I think there's 3 or 4 on the inside starting up in here somewhere, spaced 2 or 3 inches apart. And of course, we all know that you don't weld down here. This gets seam sealed all the way around, and we'll be doing some of that in the upcoming videos. If I can get this to where it won't need reprimed and I'm going to be able to paint it the same day, I will seam seal it, and I will do a video for you guys on that. And it'll be sort of a learning experience for me. I've never used the 2-part seam sealer, but everybody says I'm going to love it. So we'll have that seam to seal there, and then we'll have to taper into this old seam back here and cover up that seam, and same on the other side, and that's about it. I might even wire wheel on the back side where the inner rocker goes and get that cleaned up, and I may even put a smear on that. I got a bunch of acid brushes, so we'll get the important ones on the front first and see where I'm at with material. If I got plenty left, I'm just going to go for it and seam seal all that stuff on the back side to give it a little added protection. And I am going to, after this is painted, oil undercoat the whole truck with the bed off so that I can reach everything, and then I'll go ahead and put the bed back on. And I think I showed you guys my latest catastrophe in one of the last videos, but I found one of these header panels for the box on eBay that was a takeoff off of a truck that had been swatted in the side, and it was still good. And I think both sides, or maybe it was a rear end job that just crushed both box sides, but it didn't mess up the front of the bed for whatever reason. What I'm probably going to do is pull the fender flares off first and see how the bed sides look. I can't find a bed, nor do I have $1,000 to throw at a bed for this truck when I could repair it for much less. But there is some crust underneath. I mean, it's not perfect by any means, guys. And the cross members, there's no light under here. They're not too bad, but they're getting crusty. The front one's the real crusty one. And I need to flip it over and drill where that cross member is right there. I don't know if we can see that. Yeah, you can sort of see the end of it right there. I broke those 2 bolts off, one on this side and one on the opposite side. So since I'm going to screw up the front of the bed, maybe I will phone a friend and flip this bad boy up on the front of the box and drill those out and get that all ready, and maybe wire brush the bottom of this bed off real good to get the loose scale out of it, and that way when I go to oil undercoat it before we get it all back together, it'll be all nice. I may even get carried away. We'll see how much time I have or how ambitious I am. I may clean up in the fender tubs and spray some Raptor liner up in there to keep the stone chips to a minimum. I mean, it's really held up well, and you know, anything I can do to preserve this truck for a little bit longer. Knock on wood. I mean, everything's still running good. It's had injectors put in it at 150,000, and injector pump under warranty, 2 fuel pressure regulators under warranty. Oh, what else? I mean, a million sets of tires. I think I'm only on my 3rd set of brakes on the truck in 210,000 miles. And it's got your typical squishy Chevy brake pedal. I wish it had a nice firm pedal like the Super Duty does. It was pretty firm when I first got it, but I'm sure maybe things like the linkage to the master cylinder, you know, those pivots wear and you get slop in that, and then it feels like your brake has a lot more travel because of those problems. I mean, it's had all new calipers. The only thing I haven't changed is the master cylinder. It still stops, it'll lock the brakes up, but it's just, I want that crisp new feeling, you know, so it feels like you're driving a new vehicle when it comes to the brakes. But other than that, the rest of it's pretty sound. So I'm going to cut you guys loose, and thanks again for subscribing. Appreciate all the comments and well wishes, and take care, guys. I'll catch you later.